In yeshiva, I was always taught to question everything. And if the answer doesn't make sense, I should ask it again and again till I have an answer that I understand. I understand that people went to the Rebbe before Gimel Tammuz for dollars and a quick audience. But what is the benefit of their going there nowadays, especially if there's an expense attached to it? I'm not trying to be mezal, I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but I'm trying to understand it. And he qualifies it by something that he listened to me say in a class. I tell the story with the Alter Rebbe, where he traveled to his Rebbe, and the Misnagdim complained that it was bittul Torah, and the Alter Rebbe brought the halacha that not everybody can learn from everybody, and you need to have a Rebbe that can teach you. That was my understanding of what he wrote here. But nowadays, I don't see the relationship that people develop with the Rebbe by going to the Ohel. I know there's a big idea of going to tzaddikim. I know there's a big idea of going to kivrei tzaddikim. But what is the point, especially if it's expensive? Again, I want to apologize if things are lost over text. I'm in no way trying to be mezalzel, to discredit the custom, the meaning. I'm just trying to understand. I'm going to try my best to answer your question objectively, but I need to start with the following statement. You were taught in yeshiva to question everything, and if you didn't understand, you were taught to question again and again until you understood. There's a qualifier to that statement, at least in the yeshiva that I belong to. We need to understand Torah. We needn't understand emunah, which is before Torah. We have to understand Torah, but we don't question the truth of Torah. We have to understand Hashem as it's explained to us in Chassidus on the level of Chochmah, Bina, Vadas. But we don't question our faith. Just as much as it's an imperative to use critical thinking to understand what Hashem teaches us, it is equally imperative for us to have emunah, tohira, emunah, tmima in Hashem and the emes of Torah, and we don't question those things. Now, there are people who have those questions, and the people who have those questions, depending on the circumstances, often need answers. But that's not part of the kind of question that yeshiva bocharim are encouraged to ask. Yeshiva bocharim are encouraged to ask questions about understanding the Torah. Not the proof that Torah is true, not the proof that Hashem is true. These things are based on emunah. And I think it's very critical for me to assert this distinction. Now, it's possible that you don't see this distinction. And not seeing this distinction, I think, may be a significant reason why you're asking the question in the first place. We try to learn Torah, not God. Torah, the Gemara says. It's Torah, I need to understand it. But the Noisen Torah is above it. Now, to address your question, first of all, is there a Messiah? Of course. The Messiah goes back to the Mekubalim, like the Arizal and the Ramak and others like that. And it's a centerpiece of Hasidic Messiah, that we go to tzaddikim and we visit kivrei tzaddikim. This is not just amongst Ashkenazim, of course, it's very strong amongst the Hasidim, but it's something that most Sfardim, or all Sfardim, also consider very, very important. The foundation of all of these relationships is not what they teach them. It's how they inspire them. And even in as much as it inspires them, it's not so much the conscious inspiration, what they're feeling, but the touching of souls, a neshama and a neshama touch. When you're in the proximity of a great tzaddik, who's very deeply connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on a subconscious level, on a spiritual level, that connection connects you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's deeper even than the fact that being in the presence of that tzaddik inspires you to have Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem, and even Emunas Hashem, on a conscious level. And that's the foundation of the whole centricity of going to tzaddikim and Chassidus. I don't think there's a question that the single biggest chiddush of the Baal Shem Tov and Chassidus is Emunas tzaddikim, going to tzaddikim, going to Rebbes. And I would say perhaps one of the issues which was the most disturbing to the Misnagdim was this idea, placing such primacy on a human being who's alive now, as if tzaddikim used to exist and tzaddikim no longer exist today. But it's the very essence of Chassidus, the idea of Ra HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'tzaddikim she'mu 'atem, amr v'shasam b'chol der v'der, she'nem v'tzadik, 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 B'tzadik Yisay Da'ila, that in every generation there's tzaddikim. And these tzaddikim connect us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from their teaching, from their example, and from our proximity to them on a neshama level. This is why people go to the Ohel. I don't know how to say this to you with any logic or any proof. I just want to say a statement. Nobody goes to the Ohel if they didn't feel like it helps them. People go because it works. And it doesn't necessarily only work in terms of getting answers to questions, and when they have tzaddus, they go there and they're mispalo, and it's like Zeh Sha'ar HaShamayim, they're closer to the Eibishter. It says in Sfarim that the Kibbutz Tzadikim is connected to Eretz Yisrael, and Avira to Eretz Yisrael, and Baruch Machpelah, and all these other spiritual ideas which make it a more appropriate place to be mispalo, in addition to the idea that the Gemara says that going to a Beis HaKvaros, like we do on Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av, is machnia a person, and that hachna opens up a person to more effective tefillah. There is pasha, the spiritual connection between the human being and the neshama of the tzaddik who was interred in that place. And the people who come to the Ohel, who are by no means Lubavitch, by no means frum, don't come there because someone told them to go. They certainly don't come a second time because someone told them to go. They go there because they feel something. And they don't necessarily feel something that they can explain, but they feel something very real, very peaceful, very holy, very uplifting. That's a soul talking to a soul, a neshama talking to a neshama. And the whole concept of the neshama is higher than the concept of the seichel. And it's axiomatic to Chassidus and to Chassidim that Yiddishkeit has a dimension which is above even Chochmas HaTorah. It's the Oir HaTorah, we call it, the Pnimius HaTorah. And the Oir Torah is the spiritual presence of Hashem in this world, which every Yid has in his neshama, and it's especially pronounced by tzaddikim, and it's especially available in the Torah of tzaddikim, and people visit the Ohel for these reasons. So the first answer to your question is, of course there's a Messiah, and there's a Messiah that goes back since the Baal Shem Tov. Chassidim have been visiting Kibbutz Tzadikim. The only way for me to explain to you the benefit is to suggest to you that you try. Go to the Tzion, don't do anything, just say a kapitel Tillim, and decide if this is a waste of time or that it's a Mokum Kaddish. Ein zeh ki im Beis Elikim b'zeh Sha'ar HaShamayim, and the Targum says Leis Dein Asad, it's a Mokum Kaddish. And it's, in a way, like I said to you before, that there's a connection between Kibbutz Tzadikim and the Mechilas and Eretz Yisrael and Chevron and Sha'ar HaShamayim. And you may decide after one visit that you want to make a second visit, because not necessarily because you have a problem or you have a need and need answers to questions or healing of the sick, because it'll help you become more connected to Atzmas Ein-Sof, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Eibishter, to Hashem. I hope I understood your question correctly, and I hope I answered it as respectfully as you asked it.